Never again will I put to sea.
So proclaimed Sinbad the sailor on his return from his sixth voyage. He settled back into his old way of life in Baghdad, enjoying the comfort of his wealth and the company of his friends, until one morning he found himself packing his bags.
I just came in here to look for my slippers.
Before he knew it, he was setting sail in Basra.
Now, Sinbad had embarked on many voyages and suffered nearly as many wrecks. This time was no exception. His ship was attacked not by one, but by 3 sea monsters, whereupon it struck a reef and sank.
Sinbad caught hold of a plank and surrendered his fate to the wind and waves.
6 voyages, 6 shipwrecks, I might have known. I deserve everything I suffer.
Before too long, his plank washed ashore on an island that was crisscrossed by freshwater rivers and streams. Now, after all those many shipwrecks, he'd gotten rather good at building rafts. So he gathered together some fallen logs, lashed them with tough vines, and set sail down the broadest river.
He was swept along for 3 days and 3 nights. Then the river passed beneath mountains and his raft hurtled into darkness. When it emerged on the other side, Sinbad found himself at the port of a vast city. Men hailed him from the docks and pulled his raft ashore. An elderly merchant stepped forward and greeted him with a bow.
Allow me to offer you my hospitality.
Yes, thank you, I accept.
For 3 days, the merchant hosted Sinbad and saw to it that the sailor was bathed and perfumed.
On the 4th day, he called for his guest.
My son, it delights my heart to see you restored so soon. Let us go down to the bazaar to sell your goods.
My goods?
I see you're still somewhat confused after your ordeal. Never mind, come with me.
Not wishing to upset his kind host, Sinbad followed the old man to the bazaar. There, to his astonishment, he saw an eager crowd of merchants gathered around the remains of his dismantled raft.
Sandalwood of the finest quality, the likes of which have never before been seen in these parts.
The bidding opened briskly and did not stop until an offer of 1,000 dinars had been made.
That is a fair price in hard times such as these. Are you content to accept it, or shall I lay up the sandalwood in my storehouse until times are easier?
I will take your advice in all matters.
In that case, my son, would you sell it to me? I can only offer 100 dinars, above the price of the highest bidder.
You've been far too generous to me already.
Now that you mention it, I do have one more proposal. I have no son, but I do have a daughter who is both gifted and wealthy. It would gladden my heart if you would accept her hand in marriage and live with us here.
Are you real?
Everything I call mine shall be yours, but if the desire takes you to travel to your own country and trade there, no one shall hinder you.
You've already become as a father to me, good sir. But the hardships I have suffered have robbed me of my judgment. You decide what I should do.
In that case, prepare the wedding banquet and send for a judge.
Sinbad and the merchant's daughter were married at once and very quickly fell in love. The 3 of them lived in harmony until one day the old man peacefully passed away. As the new head of the household, Sinbad became more closely acquainted with the people of his new city and all of their customs.
One interesting fact was that at the beginning of each month, all of the men of the city grew wings and their faces changed. Then they would fly away for a few days, leaving the city empty except for women and children.
Sinbad had to know where they went. He concocted a plan, and when the next month rolled around, put it into action.
Darling, where are you going?
Out!
Sinbad rushed out into the streets until he found a man with wings sprouting from his back.
Excuse me, my good man, will you take me with you to wherever it is you're going?
Alas, I cannot.
You can't leave me here, the only man in the city? How would it look? Is it my fault I can't grow wings?
He continued to insist, and finally the man agreed to carry Sinbad on his back. As they cleared the roofs and spires of the city, Sinbad could see the flock of flying men rising up around them. They soared higher and higher until they were so high he could hear angels singing beneath the heavenly dome.
Praise be to God!
No sooner had those words passed Sinbad's lips than fire blasted down from heaven, singeing the flock. Everyone plummeted downwards, cursing Sinbad as they went. His host angrily cast him off on a mountaintop and, still cursing, swooped away. Sinbad was alone once more.
Did I think a voyage through the air would end any better than a voyage through water? I deserve everything I suffer.
Well, hours passed, and he began to pick his way slowly down the mountain. After some time, he saw a group of people, and among them, recognized the man who had carried him.
You! Yes, you. My feathered friend, I apologize for having caused you such distress.
Distress? You nearly caused our deaths. Praising the Almighty in these regions? What were you thinking?
I'm sorry, I didn't know. Will you please take me back to the city? I swear to you, I won't utter a word.
Reluctantly, the man agreed. Sinbad climbed back onto his shoulders, and they flew once again to the city. Before long, Sinbad was standing before the gate of his own house.
Once inside, he told his wife the whole story.
You did what?
I was curious.
You must never fly with these people. They're the brethren of demons.
That can't be. What about your father?
My father was not one of them. He came from different parts. Now that I think of it, I've always felt uneasy living among such people. Even before my husband decided to leap onto one of their backs and fly away. Are there flying demons in your country? Perhaps it's time for us to move.
Sinbad wasted no time. He and his wife found swift passage back to Basra, and this time there were no sea monsters along the way. Once in Baghdad, Sinbad called together all his relatives and friends. They marveled at his wealth, his wife, and above all, at simply seeing him alive. He had been gone for 27 years.
They listened with wonder to the tales he told. And then, before the assembled company, he made a solemn vow.
Never again shall I put to sea. This 7th voyage has been my last.
And as far as we know, it was.
Another local teller, Khalud K. Terapolsi, telling the fisherman in the bottle from Arabia.
I'm a coming.